जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण प्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते संकर्षणदास दिव्यान्ति नामिने। नमो प्रभुपादनुग प्रेममूर्ति के पद्मने गौरदेश विकसितोत्तम भक्ति वार्षिणे। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। Okay, so last time we had covered 24th verse of the first chapter, so we'll just continue that. So the chapter is observing the armies on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, and I completed till 24, wherein Sanjay informed Dhritarashtra that after Arjuna spoke to Krishna that please take requested Krishna to take his chariot in between the two armies. So Krishna took him in middle of the two armies. In middle the two armies, and this is what happened next. So 25th verse. Okay, there's a purport. Okay, yes. Are you available to read, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji. Bhagavad Gita 1.25. Bhishma Drona Pramukhata Sarvesham Cha Mahishatam Uchava Pratha Pashyatan Shavetan Kurun Iti. Synonyms. Bhishma, grandfather Bhishma, Drona, the teacher Drona, Param Khata, Paramukh in front of Sarvesham or Ja also Mahishitam, chief of the world, Uvacha said, Pratha, O son of Pratha, Pashya, just behold, eaten, all of them, Samavetan assembled, Kurun, the member of the Kuru dynasty. Iti, thus, translation. In the presence of Bhishma, Drona, and all the other chieftains of the world, the Lord said, just behold, Partha, all the Kurus assembled here. But as the super soul of all living entities, Lord Krishna could understand what was going on in the mind of Arjuna. The use of the word Rikesha in this connection indicates that he knew everything, and the word Partha means the son of Parth or Kunti. Is also similarly significant in reference to Arjuna. As a friend, he wanted to inform Arjuna that because Arjuna was the son of Pratha, the sister of his own father Vasudeva, he had agreed to be the charioteer of Arjuna. Now, what did Krishna mean when he told Arjuna to behold the Kurus? Did Arjuna want to stop there and not fight? Krishna never expected such things from the son of his aunt Pratha. The mind of Arjuna was thus predicted by the Lord in friendly joking. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. Okay, um, so what happened when Krishna took chariot in between the two armies? So in the presence of Bhishma, Drona, and all the other chieftains of the world, the Lord said. So he took him and then said, "Just behold." But this is the first time, if you see in the Bhagavad Gita, it began with Dhritarashtra's inquiry, then Sanjay is speaking and narrating what's happening on the battlefield, and this is the first time Krishna is speaking. Of course, it is what Sanjay is narrating to Dhritarashtra. Just behold, Partha, all the Kurus assembled here. So, Prabhupada is explaining. So, Paramatma, Krishna is present in all of us in the form of Paramatma or Super Soul. So, he knew what was going on in Arjuna's mind and what's going to happen next, and he knew everything practically. The use of the word Rishikesh, earlier also we have seen that specific words have specific meaning. Somewhere Arjuna is addressed as Dhananjaya, somewhere Krishna is addressed as Madhusudana or Rishikesh or Govinda. So it has special significance in that for that particular context. So here the use of the word Rishikesh in this connection indicates that he knew everything. So Krishna knows everything. And the word Partha, meaning the son of Pritha. Pritha is Kunti Devi. So her son, so Arjuna is also called as Partha, is also similarly significant in reference to Arjuna. As a friend, he wanted to inform Arjuna that because Arjuna, so as we know that Kunti Devi was Vasudev's sister in one relation. So Krishna was nephew of Kunti Devi, and in that sense, Arjuna and Krishna they were cousins. So, from a very a normal point of view, Krishna is just trying to point out like, okay, you are my cousin or you are my aunt's son, so I've agreed to be your charioteer. Hmm. And now, what did Krishna mean when he told Arjuna to behold the Kurus? Did Arjuna want to stop there and not fight? Krishna never expected such things from the son of. So, from an ordinary point of view, from a common point of view, common person's point of view, is he's in a joking way. Krishna is telling Arjuna uh, uh, what he mentioned. Just behold, part this one. So, what actually it meant? So, Prabhupada is explaining that. So, in a joking way, Krishna was pointing out, oh, are you going to really stop? I mean, not fight the battle? Are you thinking something like that? So, in that manner. Okay, next verse, 26th verse. It's a very short one. Let me read. तत्रापश्यत् स्थितान् पार्थः पितॄन् अथ पितामहान् आचार्यान् मातुलं भ्रात्रान् पुत्रान् पौत्रान् सखींस्तथा स्वाशुरान् सुहृदश्चैव सेनयोरुभयोरपि synonyms तत्र there अपश्यत् he could see स्थितान् standing Partha Arjuna Pitran, fathers, Atha, also Pitamahan, grandfathers, Acharyan, teachers, Matulan, paternal uncles, Bhratan, brothers, Putran, sons, Potrans, grandsons, Sakhin, friends, Tatha, two, Sashuran, fathers in law, Surad, well wishers, Cha, also Eva, certainly, Senayor of the armies, Ubhayor of both parties, Api, including translation powered by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. There Arjuna could see within the midst of the armies of both parties his fathers, grandfathers, teachers, maternal uncles, brothers, sons, grandsons, friends, and also his fathers in law and well wishers. So, practically, we can try to comprehend a little bit like he's going to fight a battle, and what he sees both the sides, his own side as well as the other side, the opposite side, who all are gathered, who all have assembled for the battle. His own family members, his own brothers, cousins, grandfathers like Bhishma Dev, teachers like Dronacharya, elders like Kripacharya, and all his own, friends and well wishers. So, purport on the battlefield, Arjuna could see all kinds of relatives. He could see persons like Bhurishrava, who were his father's contemporaries, grandfathers Bhishma and Somadatta, teachers like Dronacharya and Kripacharya, maternal uncles like Shalya and Shakuni, brothers like Duryodhana, sons like Lakshmana, friends like Ashwatthama, well wishers like Kritavarma, etc. He could see also the armies which contained many of his friends. So, and practically, uh, that's how uh, Arjuna's, we'll see further what other he thinks that okay, he chooses not to fight. Hmm? And what are the reasons he gives, we'll see as we go further in this chapter. 27th verse, there is no purport here. Mataji, do you like to read this?
Yes, Mataji. तन समीक्ष्य स कौन्तेय श्रवण बंधून अवस्थितन कल्पय परयस्विस्तो विसिदन idam ब्रवीत. Synonyms, then all of them, Samiksha, all seeing, Sa, he, Kaunteya, the son of Kunti, Sarvan, all kinds of, Bandhun, relatives, Avasthitan, situated, Kripaya, Karpaya, by compulsion, Paraya, of a high grade, Avista, overwhelmed, Visitan, while lamenting, Idam, thus, Abravit spoke. Translation. When the son of Kunti, Arjuna, saw all these different grades of friends and relatives, he became overwhelmed with compassion and spoke thus.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. So, practically seeing his own kinsmen and family members, relatives, and all, see, he was overwhelmed with compassion and spoke the following. What is that?
May I read Mataji so I can learn how to read
Yes,
shloka?
yes, Mataji.
Arjuna uvacha drastvemam svat janam krishna yuyuktam sum samupashtitam siddhanti mama gatrani mukham cha parisusyati. Synonyms. Arjuna uvacha, Arjuna said, Drashtava, after seeing Imam, all these, Swajanam, kinsmen, Krishna, O Krishna, Yuyutsam, all in a fighting spirit, Samupasthitam, present, Siddhanti, are quelling, Mama, my, Gatrani, limbs of the body, Mukham, mouth, Cha also, Parisusyati, is drying up. Translation. Arjuna said, My dear Krishna, seeing my friends and relatives present before me in such a fighting spirit, I feel the limbs of my body quivering and my mouth drying up. Purport. Any man who has genuine devotion to the Lord has all the good qualities which are found in godly persons or in the demigods, whereas the non-devotee, however advanced he may be in material qualifications by education and culture, lacks in godly qualities. As such, Arjuna, just after seeing his kinsmen, friends, and relatives on the battlefield, was at once overwhelmed by compassion for them who had so decided to fight amongst themselves. As far as his soldiers were concerned, he was sympathetic from the beginning, but he felt compassion even for the soldiers of the opposite party, foreseeing their imminent death. And while he was so thinking, the limbs of his body began to quiver and his mouth became dry. He was more or less astonished to see their fighting spirit. Practically, the whole community, all blood relatives of Arjuna, had come to fight with him. This overwhelmed a kind devotee like Arjuna, although it is not mentioned here. Still, one can easily imagine that not only were Arjuna's bodily limbs quivering and his mouth drying up, but he was also crying out of compassion. Such symptoms in Arjuna were not due to weakness, but to his soft heartedness, a characteristic of a pure devotee of the Lord. It is said, therefore, Yash Yasti Bhaktir Bhagavati Akinchana Sarver Gunais Tatra Samasate Sura Harav Abhaktasya Kuto Mahaguna Mano Rathena Sati Dhavanto Bahi. one who has unflinching devotion of for the personality of Godhead, has all the good qualities of the demigods. But one who is not a devotee of the Lord has only material qualifications that are of little value. This is because he is hovering on the mental plane and is certain to be attracted by the glaring material energy. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. Okay, so seeing all his family members, Arjuna spoke this. My dear Krishna, seeing my friends and relatives present before me in such a fighting spirit, I feel the limbs of my body quivering and my mouth drying up. So this is the beginning uh, of course, we know that Arjuna is a pure devotee. This was also mentioned by Srila Prabhupada very clearly in the introduction part and earlier, that he is a pure devotee. He is just playing a role of a conditioned soul here so that the Bhagavad Gita could be spoken. So, I feel the limbs of my body quivering, means my hands, like shivering if you are so much afraid or so much in anxiety, distressed, then uh, or fear or whatever, we might have experienced this, sweating or mouth drying up or something like that, when we are in stress or anxiety. But any man who has genuine devotion to the Lord has all the good qualities. So, which means a Vaishnava is very kind hearted, which are found in godly persons or in the demigods, whereas the non devotee, however advanced he may be in material qualification, education, culture, he lacks godly qualities. Many times we see who are very rich people, they do not know very general etiquettes also. Mm. But a very common person may be very kind and generous. So sometimes we see that. So it is not whether one is successful from the material point of view. From the material point of view, success means one is very rich, powerful, in a very high post, something like that. But from the scriptural point of view, or from the as per scriptures, a devotee is actually uh, in a better position than a non-devotee. It doesn't matter whether he's a rich or a poor or what kind of a person, but a devotee is most successful as per scriptures. However, advanced me, okay. As such, Arjuna, just after seeing his kinsmen, friends, and relatives in the battlefield, was at once overwhelmed by compassion for them who had. Okay, so it's mentioned here like he was already compassionate about. First of all, the Pandavas, they were not wanting the war. They did everything possible to avoid the war. After coming from exile, also, when Duryodhan refused to give, they asked for at least give us 5 villages, because Kshatriyas, they are supposed to rule. They cannot, do anything else, because by their guna, they have that tendency of of a Kshatriya. They cannot artificially act as Brahmana or Vaishya or any other category. So they needed to some area where they can have that administrative power and all. So even if they asked for some just 5 villages, Duryodhan was so adamant not to give anything to them. And even if they tried so much, but as it was mentioned earlier, because of obstinacy of Duryodhan, this war was happening, which could have been avoided very easily. So Arjuna was already compassionate for all the soldiers and all, because it's going to be a huge battle. So he was already compassionate for the soldiers, feeling compassion for the soldiers on his side, as well as now when he's seeing all the other members on the other party, he's feeling compassion for them too. As far as the soldiers were concerned, he was sympathetic from the beginning, but he felt compassion even for the soldiers of the opposite party, foreseeing their imminent death. So he could assess the consequence of such a huge battle. And while he was so thinking, the limbs of his body began to quiver, means like, shiver or shake kind of, and his mouth became dry. He was more or less astonished to see the fighting spirit. Practically the whole community, so practically on the battlefield, all his blood relatives, all his family members were all assembled, either on his side or on the opposite side. This overwhelmed a kind devotee like Arjuna. Although it's not mentioned here, still one can easily imagine that not only were Arjuna's bodily limbs quivering and mouth drying up, but he was also crying out of compassion. He's a Kshatriya. He's a one of the greatest warriors, and he's a favorite student of Dronacharya, as it was mentioned previously. Um, and what was his situation? He was practically, because of uh, compassion in one sense, and in other sense we will see kind of, oh, my family members, my kinsmen, my known people, so like that. So he was practically kind of crying out of compassion. Such symptoms in Arjuna were not due to weakness, but to his soft-heartedness. Why this is mentioned? Because now a common person, if somebody would have taken our property, our house, and our rights, so-called whatever material rights and all, by illegal means, then one will put all effort possible to get it back, isn't it? One will not say, okay, he took it, that's okay, let him take everything, let me just live in a hut. One will not say like that. One will try to do whatever possible to get it back. But here Arjuna's condition is different. Though they were supposed to be the, Yudhishthira was supposed to be the ruler, but they were put through so many troubles and all, were sent to exile and so on. But still he was compassionate, that okay, it's okay whatever they did, it's good if the battle can be avoided. So that was their mood. So here also he was feeling that unnecessarily all these soldiers and everybody may get killed in the battle. So that's why it's mentioned, it's not due to weakness of heart, um, but it was due to soft-heartedness. So even if they were tortured so much, they were put into so much of trouble by Duryodhana and his side, but still Arjuna was compassionate, that why, just for our just to get this become the ruler, just to get the kingdom, why to put others into so much of trouble. So it is said, therefore, यस्यास्ति भक्तिर्भगवती किंचन सर्वै गुणैस्तत्र समासतः सुरा हराव अभक्तस्य कुतो महद्गुण मनोरथेनास्ति धावतो बहि. One who has unflinching devotion for the Supreme Personality of Godhead has all the good qualities of the demigod. So one who is actually a devotee of the Lord has all the good qualities. Now, demigods, it's mentioned because there are two kinds of people, godly and demoniac. So, godly in the sense like the demigods, they are all devotees of the Lord. There may be categorization as a Kama devotee and the Akama devotee and all that, but they are all devotees of the Lord, some or the other level of devotee of the Lord. Because demons are what? They are against the Lord. So one who has full complete devotion on the for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, they have all the good qualities. But one who is not a devotee of the Lord has only material qualifications that are of little value. So one may be a famous or rich or a wise person and so on, but if one is not a devotee, then scriptures do not consider him to be of great value. This is because he is hovering on the mental plane and is certain to be attracted by the glaring material energy. Okay. Which means that if one is not a devotee, they're all um, acting as a puppet in the hands of Maya. So, so they are just kind of being kicked by the material energy from here. Now somebody is maybe a rich person today, and tomorrow maybe become maybe a pauper or a poor person, something. As per our karma, one will keep getting different things. But a devotee is beyond all these karmic reactions and everything, because he has taken shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Okay, let's see, the next verse is okay, this will be the last verse. Would you like to read this, Mataji?
Yes,
Yeah.
Mataji. विपार्थस् च शरीरे मया रोमहर्षश् च जयते गन्धीवं श्रंसते हस्तत् त्वक् चैव परिदह्यते. Synonyms: vipathu, trembling of the body; cha, also sarire, on the body; me, my; roma harsha, standing of the hair on end; cha, also jayate, is taking place; gandivam, the bow of Arjuna; shramsate, is sleeping; hastat, from the hand; twat, skin; cha, also eva, certainly; paridhatate, is burning. Translation: my whole body is trembling, my hair is standing on end, my bow Gandiv is slipping from my hand, and my skin is burning. Purport: there are two kinds of trembling of the body and two kinds of standing of the hair on end. Such phenomena occur either in great spiritual ecstasy or out of great fear under the material condition. There is no fear in transcendental realization. Arjuna's symptoms in this situation are out of material fear, namely loss of life. This is evident from other symptoms also. He became so impatient that his famous bow Gandhi was slipping from his hands, and because of his heart was burning within him. He was feeling a burning sensation of the skin. All these are due to a material conception of life. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. So, further, earlier we saw limbs are quivering and mouth drying up, and Prabhupada mentioned a purport that he was also crying. And now here Arjuna is saying, my whole body is trembling, my hair is standing on end, my bow Gandiva is slipping from my hand, and my skin is burning. Purport: there are two kinds of trembling of the body. So, and similarly, two kind of standing of the hair on the on the body. Such phenomena occur either in great spiritual ecstasy, when where one is very ecstatic and very advanced spiritual and ecstatic symptoms, or out of great fear under material conditions. So there is no fear in transcendental realization. So in this case, Arjuna's these symptoms of trembling of body, standing of hair on the end, it is because of material fear. What is that? Because there will be so much of loss of life. All these soldiers and all these people gathered on the battlefield, they may all lose their life. So that was loss of fear. I mean loss of life. This is evident from other symptoms also. He became so impatient that his famous bow Gandiva was slipping from his hands. And because his heart was burning within him, he was feeling a burning sensation of the skin. All these are due to material conception of life. So, because of his fearful state of, in one sense, okay, all my there'll be so much loss of life, all my friends, family, they all will be killed, that kind of um, feeling, or that kind of a thought. He was getting all these things like body trembling, or hair standing on end, and burning sensation of the skin, and so on. So practically we might have experienced when we are in anxiety, when we are in so much kind of um, worried or in fear, then we may sometimes feel mouth being dried up, or very much um, restless, things like that. So Arjuna is depicting the state of a conditioned soul, when a conditioned soul is actually in material attachments and material um, fear and so on. So what is the condition of a material, I mean a condition, what is the situation of a conditioned soul? So he is depicting that thing here. Okay, so we completed till 29th verse. I will stop here. uh, if you have anything to add, Mataji, or anything to discuss.
Yes, Mataji, I want to share about my daughter. Whenever I attend the Bhagavad Gita classes, she also know that mom is doing some religious thing. She will sit beside me and do Jai 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 Jai. She will sing like that.
Yeah, that's so nice. So,
And
hmm.
yes, I am having a calendar of ISKCON temple, get from temple. And whenever she saw Balrama and Krishna, she will just spread the asana and sit on that, raise her hands and just clap and say Jaya 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 Jaya.
Yeah, that's so amazing. See, by your practicing Krishna consciousness, seeing you, she is learning. So, uh, there was a nice verse also. I'm also here.
Actually, he is
I,
in hospital and I'm
okay.
using from his ID. So he is also looking what I am doing in Bhagavad Gita. So he is texting that I am also here.
Oh, okay. Okay. But yeah, you'll find many great speakers and all, but we're just doing a little bit discussion.
What, Mataji?
No, I was saying that he will find so many great speakers. So here we are just doing kind of
Yes, for
group
today
reading.
only I have used his ID because I
Mm,
don't want to miss the classes, Mataji.
no problem. So it is nice that by seeing you, by in your association, your daughter is also learning. Because I read a very nice verse today, which was related to. Just give me a moment if I can find it. Okay, probably I'll try to find it and post it in the group itself. I'm not getting it. It was very nice verse related to. Uh, okay, yeah, I got it. There is a verse in Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, 5th chapter, 18th verse. Okay, there is some noise, so let me just. Okay, there is this verse from 5th canto, 5th chapter, 18th verse. Guru na sa shat, swajano na sa shat, pita na sa shat, syat, janani na sa syat, daivam na tat syat, na patis cha sa syan na mochayet ya samupeta mrityum. So its translation is, one who cannot deliver his dependent from the path of birth and death should never become a spiritual master, a relative, a father or mother, or a worshipable demigod, nor should such a person become a husband. Everyone naturally, okay, this is a later. So the point in this was, when we have some dependents or somebody who is under our care, it becomes our responsibility to make sure that they become delivered from this cycle of birth and death. So you are playing that part very nicely by yourself becoming a devotee, and from you, because children learn from what from what is happening, what their parents do or what's happening at home. So if somebody is, if the elder person, it says the child that you don't eat ice cream, and the elder person is themselves, they're eating ice cream, the child will never listen. So whatever the parents will do, the child will follow that. So you are setting good example for her, because material education everybody gives this, but we see in future many children I know in my own friends and colleagues in colleges and all, they get into so much distress or get into bad habits and all. So the moral values and all these spiritual culture nobody gives. No, in no schools and all it's taught. It is learned from our own parents. So you are giving a very good foundation to her by giving her this bhakti as a foundation. So that's very nice of you. You are already doing your part, and she's getting benefited. So please continue that. Okay, I think we'll stop here. Yeah, you have anything to say?
Mataji, I will request one thing. If any Prabhuji is taking Bhagavad Gita classes, so my husband will also join in the evening for Bhagavad Gita classes, Mataji.
Yeah, there is one Prabhuji from Jammu. So I will contact him, and probably I'll forward your husband's number to him.
Yeah, cause in evening he can't take so long classes of
Mm-hmm.
Srimad Bhagavatam because he is in hospital that time. But at this time he can and he want to join the Bhagavad Gita classes at
Okay.
initial stage.
Okay, I will see what is the timing. The timing vary, but I'll contact. I'll see. I'll try to connect him with
Yeah,
something.
it's just it's a request only. If it is
No
possible,
problem.
then only.
Yes, yes, it is possible. I will speak about it.
Okay, Mataji.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining, and so we'll close here. Uh, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you so much for your association. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.